Imagine looking at a mountain and seeing not merely a mass of rock, but the very abode of the divine. Imagine standing beside a river and believing that its waters carry not only life, but also memory, purification, and spiritual renewal. Imagine walking hundreds of kilometers on foot, not because there's a political border to cross or a commercial opportunity to seize, but because every step itself is considered an act of worship. This way of seeing the world may seem unusual in today's increasingly materialistic age, yet for thousands of years, it formed the foundation of one of humanity's greatest civilizations.
Please like, share, and subscribe to Timeless Indian Wisdom to be updated on the latest videos.
India's remarkable continuity across millennia cannot be explained by military power alone, nor by economic prosperity or political unity. Empires rose and fell, kingdoms fragmented and reunited, and foreign invasions repeatedly reshaped the political landscape. Yet the civilization endured because its deepest foundations were never confined to capitals or kings. They were embedded within the geography itself. Welcome to Indic Eternum. Today we explore how India's sacred geography transformed an entire subcontinent into a living civilization. Modern societies generally understand geography as something measurable. Mountains define borders, rivers provide water, forests supply timber, and coastlines enable trade. Geography is viewed through economics, military strategy, or environmental science. Ancient India certainly recognized all these practical dimensions, but it also added another layer of meaning. Nature was never viewed as separate from human existence. Every river, mountain, forest, and ocean possessed both physical reality and spiritual significance. The land was not merely occupied by civilization, it actively participated in creating civilization. This worldview encouraged respect rather than domination. Instead of attempting to conquer nature, people sought harmony with it. This philosophy gradually became embedded in literature, rituals, architecture, and everyday life, producing a civilization whose identity remained deeply connected to its landscape. No geographical feature illustrates this relationship better than the Himalayas. They protected the Indian subcontinent from harsh northern climates and served as formidable natural barriers against many invasions. Yet in Indic thought, their significance extended far beyond defense. The Himalayas became symbols of permanence, spiritual ascent, and cosmic balance. They were imagined as the residence of Lord Shiva, where silence nurtured meditation and wisdom. Ancient sages traveled into these mountains seeking not political power, but inner transformation. Many of India's greatest philosophical traditions emerged from these isolated landscapes, demonstrating that geography itself could become a classroom for spiritual evolution. Even today, pilgrims journey to Kedarnath, Badrinath, Amarnath, and Kailash not simply as tourists, but as participants in a timeless tradition linking humanity with the sacred. If the Himalayas represented stillness, India's rivers represented movement. Rivers nourished agriculture, enabled trade, and supported urban settlements. Yet they also became symbols of life itself. Among them, the Ganga occupies a unique place in Indian consciousness. She is revered not only as a river, but as a living mother whose waters purify body and soul. Similar reverence extends to the Yamuna, Godavari, Narmada, Kaveri, Krishna, Brahmaputra, and many others. Festivals, rituals, and pilgrimages developed around these waterways, weaving together communities separated by thousands of kilometers. The river became both a physical connection and a spiritual thread. Even today, millions gather during events such as the Kumbh Mela, demonstrating that rivers continue to unite people beyond language, region, or politics. Ancient India also regarded forests as places of learning rather than wilderness to be feared. The very word Aranyaka, one of the categories of Vedic literature, reflects teachings developed in forest environments. Many gurukulas and hermitages were located within forests, where students lived close to nature while studying philosophy, science, grammar, medicine, astronomy, and ethics. The quiet rhythms of the forest encouraged contemplation and disciplined thought. This educational model reminds us that knowledge flourishes not only within cities, but also in environments that cultivate reflection. Long before the modern environmental movement, Indian civilization recognized forests as essential to intellectual, ecological, and spiritual well-being. Perhaps one of the most remarkable achievements of sacred geography was the development of pilgrimage networks that connected the subcontinent centuries before modern transportation. The Char Dham, the 12 Jyotirlingas, the Shakti Pithas, Buddhist pilgrimage routes, Jain Tirthas, Sikh sacred sites, and countless local traditions created an immense web of cultural exchange. Pilgrims carried languages, customs, stories, music, food, and philosophical ideas from one region to another. These journeys strengthened a shared civilizational identity without requiring political centralization. In many ways, pilgrimage routes served as the cultural highways of ancient India, creating unity through voluntary participation rather than state authority. One of the most enduring contributions of sacred geography lies in its environmental philosophy. When rivers are regarded as mothers, forests as sacred spaces, mountains as divine abodes, and animals as companions in creation, environmental protection becomes a moral responsibility rather than merely a legal obligation. Sacred groves across India preserved biodiversity for centuries because local communities considered them inviolable. Traditional water management systems reflected long-term thinking rather than short-term exploitation. Although modern India faces significant environmental challenges, these ancient principles continue to offer valuable insights into sustainable living. They remind us that conservation begins with respect, not regulation alone. Unlike many ancient civilizations centered on one dominant city, India's civilizational landscape remained decentralized. There was no single capital whose destruction could erase the civilization. Instead, sacred cities such as Varanasi, Kanchipuram, Ujjain, Dwarka, Madurai, Puri, Prayagraj, Ayodhya, and countless others each carried unique cultural significance. Together, they formed a distributed civilizational network resilient against political upheaval. This decentralization helped preserve traditions despite centuries of change. The civilization lived not in one palace, but across thousands of temples, monasteries, rivers, forests, and communities. Today's world faces climate change, biodiversity loss, rapid urbanization, and growing disconnection from nature. While technology provides powerful tools, technological progress alone cannot solve every environmental challenge. Humanity also requires a cultural transformation in how it relates to the natural world. India's sacred geography offers an alternative perspective, one that combines scientific understanding with ethical responsibility. It encourages people to see landscapes not merely as resources, but as living systems worthy of gratitude and care. Such ideas resonate far beyond India and contribute meaningfully to global discussions about sustainability and ecological civilization. The true strength of Indian civilization has never rested solely upon armies, empires, or monuments. It has rested upon a unique vision that transformed geography into culture, culture into philosophy, and philosophy into everyday life. Mountains became teachers, rivers became mothers, forests became universities, and pilgrimages became the threads that stitched together an immense and diverse civilization. This sacred relationship between people and landscape continues to inspire millions even today. In understanding India's geography, we do not simply study the land, we discover the worldview that allowed one of humanity's oldest civilizations to endure through thousands of years of change. If you enjoyed this exploration, subscribe to Indic Eternum, where we journey through the timeless wisdom, history, philosophy, and civilizational heritage of Bharat, one idea at a time.